Alright, hey my crafty creatures. So I kind of want to make today a little bit different than any of my other videos. So today I am obviously not done up like I normally am. And I want to kind of do my hair and kind of talk to you guys about what I want to do for this year. And the kind of videos that you can kind of expect to see from me going throughout this year. So I guess first I'm going to get my stuff ready and actually plugged up because I probably should have prepped some of this before I started hitting record, but I want this to be kind of informal. I may even share some of the products that I like to use while doing my hair. And I typically, when I do my hair, I typically do it right here in my craft room on the floor. Maybe eventually I'll get myself like a desk to actually do this at, but I haven't quite figured out the configuration for that. But let's get my hair out and start prepping it for actually being straightened, because that's what I'm doing today. I've been thinking about doing some curls today, or not necessarily curls, but just having more volume and not just like a straight cut. This year, I kind of want to focus on three main things when I do my videos. And to kind of understand why I want to do these three things, I'm going to kind of go back to last year and me kind of getting back into making videos and everything like that. And last year was the first time in a while, which I think it was about 2 years, that I had like actually like sat down and really made some videos and like consistently made videos. That was something that was a little hard for me because of the job that I had. I was so focused on doing that I didn't have the energy to want to do anything else on my time off. So last year when I started making videos again, it was about just kind of showing you what I was doing that year. And that year ended up being a year of me making a few things. So I started doing sewing again, which is something I hadn't been doing in quite a few years. I had just been buying things. At the time, I worked at a place that sold clothing, so it was easy for me to just buy anything that I was interested in. So I kind of got into less making my clothes and more buying my clothes. I was buying secondhand, so there is that. But I wasn't really making any clothes, and I started to get a bit frustrated with that. The other thing was I started making costumes. Well, not making costumes. I remade my costumes last year, and remaking them made me realize how I love the process of just like taking like a picture or a character and like breaking down each element of what they wear and then recreating it in real life. So that was definitely a fun process for me. And last year was like the first time in a long time that I like really decorated my house and like did DIYs to decorate my house. And that was mainly because last year I no longer had a job. So not having a job means I can't spend as much money. So buying brand new already made things was just like a hard thing to do. And that wasn't something I could do anymore. So I wanted to make sure that when I did spend my money, I spent it purposefully and was able to get a lot out of a little. So I realized that I really liked that process of not only finding DIYs to do, but kind of creating my own versions of DIYs, or, you know, creating something from scratch. Like something sparked an idea for something completely different for me to do. And I love that process. That was my Halloween and Christmas. So that was like a fun process for me. And I kind of want to continue doing that. Now, when I style my hair, I use one of a few products, or two of a few products. So I have this argan oil here that I got from Costco, and I've been using it Like I bought this like 5 years ago, so I've had this a while. Don't use much of it. And then I have this here that I've been using for a while. And then I have this as well that I use. And these are the main products that I usually use on my hair. I used to use this a lot, but I no longer seem to use it. It weighs my hair down too much and it gets oily quicker. So I typically try not to use that. And then I have this oil that I'll use like a couple of drops of. But I'll go between those. I don't use all of them every time. I use usually a combination of 2 of those at a time. I'll put it on before I blow dry my hair. And then after that, there's not much else I put on there. So I have basically 2 clips that I like to use on my hair. I have these like metal ones here, and then I have these here. My flat iron it's a Babyliss Pro product. I got this in the, I want to say 1.5 inch. I prefer the inch, but I didn't see it when I was looking for it. So I ended up getting this one. I'm not a huge fan of it because it doesn't get in as tightly as I would like to. But it works, and it's a good flat iron. And this one's with the titanium plates. I prefer the titanium plates, but I definitely prefer the 1 inch over 1.5. I usually start at the front and then work my way around my head. So I get the first section roughly to how I normally kind of part it, and I section off the rest of it. Okay, so to kind of go back to what I want to do for this year. So we went over the like 3 things that I want to focus on. So I want to go into like more detail of those things. So when it comes to clothing, I have had some changes in the last year where since I'm not working and I'm not as active as I used to be, I gained some weight. And me gaining some weight is something I've been trying to do for a while, and I've never been able to like really get more than like, 5, like up to 5 pounds heavier than what I was. And a lot of my 20s and early 30s, I was basically like maybe 110 at my heaviest. And right now I'm at like 126, 128. And I think that's a good weight for me. So I'm going to try to maintain that. I'm not holding myself to it because like if I do go over that, it's going to happen. I'm not going to fuss about it too much unless it starts getting to an unhealthy point. But I'm trying to stay active enough so that I can maintain that weight. But with me being heavier, a lot of the stuff that I was wearing last year no longer fits me. And going through the season, you kind of switch from your like winter, fall clothes to your summer, spring clothes. So when it got around to the winter clothes, I really didn't have like all my pants were like uncomfortably tight, and a lot of my shirts didn't fit me the way I wanted to, or didn't feel as comfortable as I wanted them to feel. So those are a lot of the things that I'm going to have to like now make, because I don't want to buy things, because buying things, you end up, things still don't fit sometimes, and you have trouble finding things that you like. And I'm not a huge like store shopper. I'm an online shopper, not all the time, but I just typically don't like doing like shopping in general. But I do like being able to like try on the clothes. So, catch 22. You can try on the clothes, but don't like go into the store to figure out if that, will actually fit you before you buy it. But so I want to take some more time and like be more mindful about the things that I make. And I want to be able to make a lot more clothing that I can, one, lounge around in, and also like still feel comfortable like going out in that. And that is something I want to spend more time this year doing, so that I can have a wardrobe that I'm proud of and I feel comfortable, stylish, and happy with. So that is definitely something I want to focus on. And I want to take you guys along that process with me. So it's not just going to be me sewing it together and you see the final product. Some of the videos are going to be about me just designing it and working on the pattern or finding a pattern that I can use to actually make the item. And then sometimes I'll just be doing like a review of the process of putting it together, because I can't be like, I can't just sit up here and just do a full on sewing video, like a sew with me video every single time I make something. I've found that I don't typically like to watch those kind of videos. So why would I put you guys through watching those videos if I don't even like watching them? So I want to put videos that not only you guys want to watch, but I want to watch. So much static. I'm probably going to have to put some more product on my hair because I did my hair yesterday. I like touched up this part here and it looks a little funky, but it's gonna be okay for like a couple weeks. And I, of course tied up my hair so that I wouldn't have to worry about it, and now it has so much static in it. It's going everywhere. But so to go back to like making clothes, like I want to make sure that what I'm making are things that I am really going to enjoy, and like I don't want to make things that I'm not going to wear. So like I want to try to make sure that those things are like really comfortable, exciting for me, and I want to make sure that I try to be more thoughtful about the things that I make and not just make things just to get the views or something like that. These are going to be things that I truly like, and hopefully you guys can find things that you like, or it inspires you to find your own style and, make the things that you want. Maybe even you can, make the things along with watching my videos, who knows. But I definitely want to spend more time being more mindful about the things that I make for me to wear. And, maybe I'll even throw a few things in, not throw a few things in, but throw a few videos of like things I make for my husband. And there's a couple of things that he's been wanting me to make for him that I just haven't had the time or the energy to kind of put together. And this year I'm going to try to spend a little more time doing that. Oh, there are some things that I do want to make for our dog. I think I want to do like a couple of collars, maybe some shirts, and maybe some stuff for winter for him to help keep him warm while we're out on walks and stuff like that. When it comes to costuming, I don't know what I'm going to be doing this year. I had plans to work on a costume for Jade from Mortal Kombat, specifically Mortal Kombat 11, not the newer one that just came out, but I've been wanting to do that character ever since I saw my husband play that game. It is something that I kind of grew up playing when I was younger, but I haven't really played it since then because I'm not as into the fighting games or really many other games as much as I used to be when I was younger. So I don't really play as much, but I've been getting back into like playing a little bit. So I've been playing Spider-Man recently, and that's been fun. That's been getting me the idea to like maybe do a Spider-Man costume or like an original Spider-Man costume, but I haven't decided on that. As far as the Jade costume, I do want to do that. We have a couple of friends that we go to this convention with that are thinking about doing like a group costume and possibly like doing that together. I still haven't decided because I know like last year when I was doing costumes, it took up so much of my time, and I was like also doing videos at the same time, and that process just kind of tired me out. And even though I love doing the whole process, it's just the whole idea of like doing that all over again is kind of frustrating and kind of like I don't really feel like doing that again. But in this case, it would just be one costume, except for I'd have to basically do every part of it from scratch. At least last year with the costumes that I was doing, even though I was doing 3 of them, it was all costumes that I had already made all the pieces for, and I had the patterns already ready. So it was just really just remaking it so that it either fit me better or I had multiples of. So that would be a little bit different in the whole process of it. But right now, that's the only like costumes that I'm kind of thinking about. So I don't know, like I still haven't decided if I want to do it yet. And I'll probably decide by maybe April whether I'm going to do that or not. That would give me roughly enough time to like actually work on the costume, I think. Depending on like how much detail I'm going to try to put into it, I guess. So that's what I'm thinking about for as far as costuming stuff. But I do want to show like that whole process of doing that. So I want to, in all the videos, I want to show you more of the process and the tools that I like to use to do all of these things. And hopefully you guys can like gain some new knowledge, maybe even use some of the things that I do, or give me ideas of things that I can use that are even better than what I'm currently using. So when it comes to doing like the decor stuff, that is where I kind of struggle a little bit because of the fact that there's so much you can do with decorating your home. Like you can go as far as like remodeling your house. And currently, I know that's not something I'll be doing just because we don't have the money to like remodel any area of our house. But I do want to make the areas of our house functional. And that might involve me like actually building things or putting up shelves and just like reworking what's already there to make it work better for us. And I do want to be able to share that process with you guys too. And then there's also the whole aspect of just like doing DIYs for decorations and stuff like that. Not necessarily just for like Halloween, Christmas, and any other holiday that I'm thinking of, but like just pieces that, you know, really stand out to me and kind of make a house look more homely. And just like making sure that like when I look around my house, I'm happy. Like I'm happy to be there. Because like, right now there's a whole lot of areas where it's just like, oh, I just wish this wasn't there. And I need to be able to like spend the time to actually sit down and clear all that stuff out and get rid of the things that we don't need and don't want and don't have a use for. And make sure that everything that we do have has a purpose. So there are some things that I know for sure that I want to do. And one of them is rearranging our living room. Now, our living room setup is currently okay. It works for, you know, just having the 2 of us here. And, well, 3 of us with the dog. And that works for us now. But, like, I've noticed that whenever we have friends or family come over, they tend to gather in an area where there's not really a whole lot of space. And I want to rearrange our living room so that it better accommodates having more than just, you know, me and my husband and our dog in the house. So I have an idea of what I want to do there. There may or may not be some new furniture purchases for that. We'll have to see how our money looks at that time when that happens, but I'm not planning to do that until it warms up because I don't really want to do that while it's cold. And let's see, I definitely want to do some more like DIYs and stuff for the holidays. And I've noticed that since Halloween, I've leaned more into like the spooky, scary kind of stuff. So I want to incorporate more of that kind of stuff in our house. And I don't want it to be just for Halloween. I want it to be year round. So like this past Christmas was the first time I've ever like done like a spooky Christmas. And to me, it didn't come out as spooky as I wanted it to. but I did have to work with what I had, and I couldn't buy too much more, like very specific, like more obvious things. Like I couldn't buy like a new tree or something like that to create the look I wanted. So I want to try to bring in more elements to give that look and do more DIYs to actually create that look for myself. So there are a couple of things. Like I did a spiderweb tree and it came out really good, but I noticed some things that I did when like actually assembling it that there was some prep work that could have been done that could have made that process a lot easier. And also, since we have those like a lot of trees around our house, we have a lot of there are a lot of older trees at that. So they have a lot of branches that fall off and end up breaking things. And so not only that, but we had a lot of weather where it was like really windy and it ended up like pulling things apart and the lights got misshapen. We had a branch that fell down on it and like pulled out like a good portion of it. So I had to redo that part, and there's definitely some things that I could have done better. Like the rope that I used to hold it up definitely needed some supports because after a few days of having like wind and rain and all of that, it ended up dropping down some more. So having like some type of thing to actually hold it in place would have been better. But it's definitely something I'm going to continue to do, and I'll probably make it bigger, honestly, next year. I'll probably get some more of that stuff and actually make that bigger and make it more like intricate. And they're like the bows that I did, the Nightmare Before Christmas inspired bows that I did. There are some things that I want to add in there. Like I want to do maybe like a skull or something like that to actually add some detail and maybe do some like bigger floral arrangements. I like the ones that I did, but I felt like they were a little small. It was just because, that was what I could afford to get. And also the store I went to didn't have a lot of supply. So it was just like I had to work with what I had. And I really enjoyed and loved the way all of that ended up looking. And I just want to add more to it. With all the wind that we had, like the last few days, like the spider webs that I have on the outside of my house are looking a bit rough. Not to mention, sometime after Halloween, there was like a mass death of all the insects around our house. So I went out to our car one day and there was just a bunch of bugs on there. I was like, what is going on? They were everywhere. And I didn't even think to like look at the spider webs, but I noticed that there was a bunch of them in the spider webs, at least but the ones by the front door. And I was like, oh God, this is gross. I might have to replace these finally. And with all the wind, I think a majority of them have already been knocked out. So I'll have to see. I'll definitely have to kind of like maybe hand wash them or something to kind of get them a little cleaner so that they don't look that same way. But I can also buy more because that stuff is not that expensive, and I can just replace what we have and just make that, you know. But there's some other stuff that I've been adding to like my Pinterest boards and stuff like that of things that I want to kind of do for it, and hopefully I can get to a good portion of that. But these are like the things that I am thinking of making, and I hope you guys like enjoy that and really want to like see all the stuff that I end up getting into. I'm looking forward to this year. I definitely want to be able to spend more time doing those things and be more thoughtful of like how I'm putting those things together, and not just kind of like, well, I feel like doing this, let me go ahead and do that. Because there was definitely a few of those projects that I did this year, and because I did that, I didn't record them or really show you any process of how I made those things. It was more like an afterthought, and I want to put more intention about the videos that I make for you guys and that I put out, and I want them to be things that I'm proud of. So I hope you guys like enjoy that. I'm going to finish doing my hair and I'll come back at the end. Okay, so I have gone through and straightened out my hair. I'm going to add a little bit of product, and I just use my Paul Mitchell, and then was it Orlando Pita argan oil, and I'm just going to put that mostly on the ends here, and then whatever I have left I'll do more close to the roots. Now, I know right now it's just straight. I'm going to go in, after straightening, I usually go in and just curl all of it. And then what I'd like to do is just over curl it. And then I go in with a saran wrap after that, so that it actually smooths out my hair and it lasts a little bit longer as far as staying straight. All right, so now time to do some curls. Hey, babe. All right, so I have now curled all my hair pretty much the way I want it to be. And now I'm going to do a saran wrap. So what I normally do with that is brush it. I have to grab my other brush though. All right, so I have my brush. This one has like boar hair bristles, and then some bristles that are kind of similar to this one. And for me, I feel like that just gives me the tightest wrap. And I wrap it in a circle. I usually go from my left to my right, but you can also go the opposite way. It just depends on where you like typically wear your part. If it's to the center, it doesn't really matter, but if you wear it on like the left side, then that means you would have to wrap to the right. And then if you wear it on the right side, you'd have to wrap it to the left. Okay, I usually go around a few times because it does tend to, when you freshly got it washed, it tends to like want to fall out. But it's doing okay today. And I'm just taking this brush right here, which is just the boar bristles, and just smoothing out some areas. And then I will take the saran wrap, pull that out, and then use that to wrap the hair. And this is not graceful at all, but it's just to get it started. And then I go around a few times. And then typically what I do is I just place it back in this thing. And this is like a big Costco one, so it actually comes with this little thing right here, so I can easily cut it off. And then I just fold down the tops, and then I do a little bit of a wrap. This actually tightens it a bit sometimes, and I make sure that I poke in any of the hair that decides to pop out. So I'll push my hair in there. Make sure it's as smooth as possible. And then I usually keep this on for about 5 to 10 minutes. But if I notice that I'm starting to get sweaty, I definitely take it off immediately, because you don't want to get sweaty while you're wearing this. You can also go into the dryer for about 5 minutes and it'll be perfect. But that's what I'm going to do there. Let that sit for a bit, and then I'll come back and we can actually finish this video off. All right, so now it's been about 5 minutes, and I'm going to take this off, and ooh, that left a lot of static. Sometimes this leaves more static than before, but now I can comb it out and see what we finally end up with. little part right here, but whatever. Okay, so this is the final look. And I want to thank you guys for kind of tuning in with this video for me. I know it's a bit different than anything I've ever done. So I hope you guys like the plan that I'm going forward with this year. And hopefully you can find some videos that you enjoy and want to see more of. And just let me know anything that you have an idea of, like what you want to see from me. And I can try to get that in this year or maybe even next year, depending on how things go. But I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.